All right. Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
All right. Back in the house, baby, for a round of 16 quarterfinal recap and, of course, our semifinal preview. So we're super excited for the semis.
I'm mostly excited that we're actually getting this out like enough in advance that people can actually listen to it for once. But I've been like,
Exactly.
we usually get our previews out like an hour before, so
you have all of Thursday to listen to us ramble about tennis.
So. All of Thursday, guys. All of Thursday.
So, and that being said, we really appreciate all the support on Twitter. We're almost up to 400 followers, which is just unthinkable for
386.
us. Started this January, but if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, if you like our content, that would be much appreciated. So, thanks again for all the support. All right, let's
we're down to 29 subscribers. Like we're getting like some
Yeah. Okay. From 20 to 29
I just look it up now. I was like, how are we doing? And no, my bad. I misread 20, not 29.
Oh, okay. All
right. I read 19 before. So guys, subscribe. If you're not subscribing, see, I'm watching you, followers. The Twitter followers are following the Twitter, but they are not subscribing to the YouTube videos.
Yeah, don't blame melatonin for not subscribing.
There's no excuse, guys.
There's no excuse. Don't pull a sissy pass on us. All right, let's get right into it. So let's talk a little bit about the fourth round. I guess we could start with Alcaraz versus Musetti. What were your takeaways? I guess Alcaraz in general. So
I mean, he's at another level, right? Like he's just and we'll talk about him more, I'm sure, because he's in one of the two semis. But he's at another level than I think almost anybody in the tour. He does have a little bit of a I mean, and it's not just this has been going on for a while now, where he does have dips. It feels like, especially when he's ahead, where he dips for a while. And he gets a little loose sometimes, gives away some breaks of serve. Like there's still stuff to clean up in his game, but he's on another level than anybody else.
I don't necessarily think it's when he's ahead. I just think like he just has like 2 or 3 game lulls. Like he gets it back pretty quickly. Like even in the Tsitsipas match, like at the end of it, he had that lull from like 5-2 to 5-all, I would say. But then, like, once it was 5-all and it was tight again, like, I thought he played a pretty good tiebreaker, like, I think.
Yeah, I guess that kind of goes to my point, right? Like, once he's in trouble, he then, like, buttons the hatches back down, right? Same thing happened against Shapo, went down a break in the second set, buttoned it up, right? Like,
right. He limits the damage very well.
So in 5 matches in the first round of this tournament, only Musetti got to 3 games. I guess you're right, though, because, like, Musetti Alcaraz started off slow and was down 2-0.
Right.
So I guess that proves your point. I guess it's just like he does have lulls. So
I think he's brief, though, and in a best of 5 set match, they're not long enough to really do significant damage because like his ball quality is just superior to everyone else's right now.
I don't disagree with that. I just think there's like still work to do, and it on clay, I think it's least relevant. I think it's interesting too, because I think it's less relevant on slower surfaces. Mm-hmm. I think on faster surfaces, you can get him in trouble, where like if he lulls and gives away a break, it's a lot harder to get that break back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if he's playing on like a super fast hard court in Australia, or on an indoor hard court, or if he's playing on like, a grass court, like that break might not, that break could cost him a lot more. Whereas like here on clay, he like, fine, whatever. He'll get it back.
Right. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean it's incredible.
But it's amazing. I mean, so in the first set of matches so far, 5 matches, he's averaged giving up 1.4 games in the first set.
Wow, that's crazy. That's insane.
Like that's insane. Like on the pro tour, the pro tour, that you're more likely to get breadsticked or bageled than not in the first set.
That's stuff Nadal would do at the French.
Oh no, that's better than Nadal was doing.
Yeah, maybe not like certain years, like 17, for example.
I don't know. I don't know if Nadal ever ran through the French giving up less than 2, like an average of two games.
Well, I know in 17 he didn't even let an opponent get to 5.
No, I know that. I know that. Like he's had some ridiculous runs. I mean, we're arguing ridiculous versus ridiculous, right? But like, I guess the point is like it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think
set and like sets afterwards he's been a little bit weaker?
Let me ask you this question: do you think this version of Alcaraz is better than any version of Djokovic? Like just from a like not putting in mental and all that, but just like the pure tennis. Like from like an athletic, kind of like a athletic standpoint, just shot.
I guess, yeah. I think from like an athletic pure shot, but like that is Alcaraz's. Like that was never Djokovic's game. Like Djokovic has made some ridiculous shots, but it's never been like his game, right? Like that's never been his forte. In fact, I think that's been like the
precision and like
I think it's more tactics. Like I think if you're asking what's been the biggest thing in it's tactics, and it's tactics, mental toughness, discipline, and precision has been like kind of the hallmark of Novak's career. So it's like it's kind of an unfair question, but I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get more into the Alcaraz Novak, but it's just like, I mean, I'm dumbfounded by this level of tennis he's producing right now and the shot making. Like, I know Tsitsipas didn't play that good of a match. Like, he was kind of sleepy, and I mean, as the melatonin would say, but like, that's a bullshit excuse. Like, we're not gonna, condone that. But like,
my point is like, okay, so if he, I don't like, I don't know, I don't even know, like, I really, I don't know that it would have mattered.
No, I don't. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if he played well.
I still don't think he would have taken like maybe he would have taken the third set because Alcaraz dipped. Right. Maybe, but I think it'd be in the same spot he ended up being in.
It wouldn't have been 2-1. Probably would have been like 3-4, maybe, right?
Maybe not. Maybe 3-2. Like, I really don't think. And like Alcaraz dipped in the third, so like, if Alcaraz doesn't dip in the third, and Tsitsipas doesn't, like, and Tsitsipas plays better, it could be like 3-2-3 or 3-2-2 or 3-2-4. Like,
that's what it should have been. I mean, and you would have also had 90+ units.
Yeah.
In your pocket.
Which is brutal. That's by far the worst loss. Not by far, but it's up there in terms of my most depressing losses.
It was terrible. I mean,
to be that close to beating Tsitsipas up 2-1 and 2. I mean, I guess to transition into Tsitsipas, like, for Tsitsipas, like, I don't know, man. Like, it's he's just not in Alcaraz's league on any. I don't know if on any court, to be honest, at this point. I think it's just an impossible matchup for him.
Well, I posted it on Twitter. Like, I felt like prior to this match, like, there have been multiple press conferences where he feels like he's kind of caved to Alcaraz's greatness and just like resorts to like praising him. I know the reporter asked him a question once, and like the answer was completely irrelevant to what the question was, and he just started praising Alcaraz. Like, I just think he's like in awe of him, and like more.
I don't know. I don't know if it, like, I don't even think it matters. Like, I just think it's like such a bad matchup tennis wise. Like,
yes,
I don't think it's just, he's just not like, he's not good enough. Like, he just doesn't like. So actually, this is the problem, right? Like, in order to win, Tsitsipas has to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not able to attack against Alcaraz consistently, and so therefore he can't beat him. Like, it's the worst matchup actually for him because like Alcaraz actually can beat him to the punch, and like even Novak isn't beating him to the punch most of the time, right? Like, Novak is more kind of letting like even like, we saw this at the Australian Open final, right? Where like, for large parts of that match, like Tsitsipas was playing the game he wanted,
right,
and kind of controlling the points. And like, the problem for Tsitsipas is if he's not controlling the point, he has no chance.
No chance. Absolutely no chance.
Like, his whole game is to control the point. I call him the best attacker in the game.
I don't think so anymore.
Not.
No, I think Alcaraz is actually the best attacker in the game. The problem, the thing that makes him so great is that he complements that with insane defense and shot making.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think like
you combine both, and it's like you create this beast.
I don't think there's anything Tsitsipas can do about it. No. Like, because like, if he can't beat him to the punch, what's he going to do? Like, I think on a faster court, he has a better chance. Like, if it's on a grass or a faster hard, the serve plays up a little more, and that's probably the one advantage Tsitsipas still has. But like,
serve, I mean, The thing is, Alcaraz's serve seems like it's a strength against Tsitsipas, especially on this court, because Tsitsipas's backhand is such a liability. And especially on the return when it gets up high. It's such a liability. It's just
on clay, and on clay the serve plays down is my point. So like a faster court where like the ball doesn't bounce up as much.
He's gonna have even more trouble on return, is my point. So like he would be able to attack more when he's serving and be able to hold probably a couple more times, but he wouldn't be able to like he couldn't create a break point on clay. So like he's not going to create a break point on a faster court.
Right. And like maybe not. I mean, maybe like, but I guess I go back, like he might actually, because like he still might, like Alcaraz might do what he does against a lot of guys and like punt away a service game or two.
Yeah.
And Tsitsipas can just control. Like I don't think he wins. Like I'm not making the argument that I think Tsitsipas has a chance on any court, but I think like this is like pretty. I don't know if a slow hard movie would be better for him or not. I think that would probably be the worst. Mm-hmm. Like an Indian Wells probably the absolute worst. But like this is pretty far down in terms of places that Tsitsipas wants this match to be played. Mm-hmm. Like if he gets to play this on like a,
I just have a feeling that that Tsitsipas has kind of just conceded the fact that Alcaraz is better, and he doesn't really know the solutions to come up with. Like that's
he does, because I don't think he has one right now except get like. I mean the solution. The solution is to serve amazing and be able to serve amazing, attack with the forehand, and get to tie breaks or hope that Alcaraz
dips. He's going to need to make a little bit more progression on the backhand. You know,
well, that would help too, right? But like
because I don't think every backhand is just floating straight in the middle of the court, and that just allows
Alcaraz in the net
attack or in the net
or in the net.
or
like
in the net.
You know what I mean? It's. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Like, if you want to say the backhand's the weakness, fine. But I'm saying, like, right now, if you're like what could Tsitsipas do to win the match? And I think that would be the solution right now is just like serve amazing, you know, attack with the forehand constantly, and not get.
If he does that, he would have a 20% chance, maybe 15% chance. He has to improve his weaknesses. That's what it boils down to with Tsitsipas. Like he has a lot of holes, and against the top.
Well, but what is the hole besides the backhand?
The return,
what is really the hole besides the backhand?
The lack of slice.
The backhand.
Yeah. I don't think the defense is a problem. Like he doesn't defend that well.
He's better on the forehand side. I think that's largely the backhand. Like I think 90% of the problem is the backhand. Which is a huge problem. It's a big problem. I agree with you. It's a big problem. But I think like, you know, we say like, oh, you know, he's got so many poles. It's really mostly just one shot. The problem is like, it's really hard to win.
Another problem is that Tsitsipas's best strength, which is the forehand, Alcaraz has a better one. So that's another problem.
Ooh. I think you're right on the overall, but I think Tsitsipas's approaches are better.
Fine, but Alcaraz can approach. Well, he hits it bigger from the back of the court, and what makes it better is that he complements it with the drop shot way better than Tsitsipas does.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean, so, like, yeah, but that's a big part of the forehand. I feel like, you know, like Tsitsipas, he's always looking to come in, and he also volleyed terribly yesterday. So like that's another thing. Like, I feel like his forehand volley is way better than his back. Like everything on the backhand side is a weakness. If you pepper that backhand side, even at net, he doesn't volley very well either. There were like 4 or 5 instances where he just kind of hit a backhand volley kind of like in the middle of the court, which gave Alcaraz an opportunity for a pass.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, look, they're like, he can't like, it all adds up one way or the other to like, his only way to beat Alcaraz is to serve ridiculous and hope either he gets to a tiebreak or that Alcaraz dips and gives him a break and is able to serve
significantly, not just a little bit. Yes.
Well, I mean, again, if he's serving like I mean, I don't know, 80. And again, it's ridiculous because it's so hard to do this and execute this. But if he's serving like 80% first serves, it's like 75, 80% first serves. If he's not getting broken, like maybe he has a chance. Then I think maybe he has a chance because then like he can hold serve and like if he gets and Alcaraz I think is like again because the serve for Alcaraz isn't amazing. Like that's the one advantage area where Tsitsipas is better. Like Alcaraz he's given away a few breaks in this tournament, which is giving him away, and he can Tsitsipas might get lucky, run into one of those, and like be able to steal us. But like it's really hard. Like to your point, it's really hard to have that happen for 3 sets.
And Alcaraz on serve, he wasn't really going that big. Like high percentage, heavy to the backhand. Tsitsipas would either miss it long or leave it short, and that would just give Alcaraz full reins to attack. So like it just like felt like every serve, like didn't matter if it was even first or second serve, like he just started the point on the front foot, and it's just like it was a really kind of eye-opening performance, not just Alcaraz's quality, but also like how much Tsitsipas, like how much work he has to do.
I don't think it was because like we've seen this now. Like we've been talking about how Steph has work to do for like 3 months. So I don't think like in my mind it wasn't like eye-opening. It was just like
I don't know. We were impressed with him at the Australian Open, and then this was like just like whoa. Like
well, I think again, so I think on a faster court he's more okay, right? Like on a faster, lower bouncing court, like the backhand is worse when the ball gets up. The clay is the hardest surface to attack on. So like, but now usually Tsitsipas does better on clay because his movement's actually pretty good on the clay. And his defense therefore plays up a little bit better on the clay. But not against Alcaraz.
Yeah.
I guess moving to the next section of the draw, Djokovic destroyed Varillas, which I don't think was really a surprise. That's a hell of a run for Varillas just to make the 4th round of a slam. And then Kachanov beat Sonego. Sonego, kind of like Sonego usually does, like emotionally was in it for about 3 sets, and Kachanov just wore him down.
I mean that's kind of what summed it up, especially after the 3rd set.
I mean Sonego was done after the 3rd set.
He was.
Even honestly near the end of the 3rd set, you could see the wheels starting to come off, and then obviously the 3rd set was competitive. I think Sonego had a set point in the tiebreaker. Like it's not Sonego didn't have a chance, but it really felt like I was watching the tiebreak, even the 3rd set tiebreaker. I was like, if Sonego wins this, can he really win the match, or is he just going to push Kachanov an extra set?
So Kachanov has become a consistent slam performer. I mean, semis, quarters were his last 3 results, and it's just like I don't know. I respect the guy, the way he competes, and like how he never gives in physically, and he's actually kind of like always there mentally. Like he's never gonna pull the Sonego and kind of wilt after a 3rd set. He's always going to be there. Like even against Djokovic, like after Djokovic played lights out in the 3rd set and that 7-0 tiebreak, like 4th set was very competitive.
So
I kind of respect that, and I think that's why he's like a problem in slams. Because like people can't match that intensity.
It's also like he's starting to become a little bit so like I'm looking at something right now. This year he's 12-1 against guys outside the top 50.
Okay.
He's
so no more bad losses.
He's 20-5 versus guys outside the top 20. With it was a couple of more shaky losses. Like he lost to Dan Evans in Barcelona.
That was a crappy loss.
Lost to Bodic in Dubai, but that was after like 3 months off. Like honestly, there's really been very little in the way of bad losses. Like if you look this year in terms of bad losses for Kachanov, it's probably Draper in Adelaide, and Evans in Barcelona, and then Barrera the 1st round of Rome was really weird that he lost that match. Like other than that, though, but like other than that, like he really hasn't had any bad losses. He's kind of becoming like where Sinner used to be maybe last year, and Sinner's probably even improved since then, but where like he's now consistently beating up on the guys below him, which I think explains how he makes these runs, because like he's which is what top, borderline top 10 guys do. Like
Right.
I think he's put himself.
And I feel like he's getting slightly more successful against the top 10, right? Like I saw against Djokovic, he was kind of, utilizing the drop shot a little bit. Still sucks at net. I mean, we're not going to go that far, but like he's mixing it up slightly. And I think he's adding to his game in subtle ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I think he's playing. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, overall, I think what impresses me most catching up is his toughness, physical and mental.
Yeah, absolutely. He is
and
tough.
I think like that's why he's able to get through and beat a lot of these guys. It's just pure. It's just toughness. I mean, he's just like he's just able to, find a way through.
He looks tough and he is tough. I
mean, but he's like mentally and physically, right? Yeah. So that's Kachanov.
Yeah, I thought he accounted himself well against Djokovic and won that first. He could have won the second. I mean, Djokovic was sluggish, and it just that tiebreak turned the whole match around, right? But expect that with Novak.
Yeah.
How about?
I guess that's the top half.
How about
moving to the bottom half
in terms of betting for the top half?
So I called the Kachanov Sonego match pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I had Kachanov. I think I had Kachanov minus a -7.5. I remember right. I had Kachanov to win in a tiebreak in the match.
Mm-hmm.
So I called that one pretty well. I think what else in terms of betting. The Alcaraz match, the Alcaraz was obviously painful. We talked about that one. I still was +5 units, but I could have been +100. Because you and I were both all over Alcaraz there.
I mean, we honestly called that match absolutely perfectly. Just from a narrative perspective, we absolutely.
We were both all over that.
I mean,
unfortunately, I guess the one unfortunate thing was Alcaraz had the Alcaraz dip, and it does seem to happen once per match that he has this dip.
Once per match, but why that? Why then?
I know.
Why then?
But it's interesting when you think about how hard it is. When you and it's why the line was 80-1 to not face a break point. So I'm fine with it, but it is interesting how he has against Sabali, one dip in the third set, right?
Right.
Against Taro Daniel,
one dip in the second.
Not really that much of a dip, but he did dip for a game in the second set, and that ended up being the difference.
Yeah, just one game, right? And that was the set. Didn't he lose 5 points on return that entire set? And that was
yeah.
Just
So one quick dip, and he got it back right away, but one quick dip.
One quick dip against Chapo in the second set was up.
Yeah,
Chapo was up a break. I mean, he got it back right away, but there was the dip.
One quick dip to start against Musetti, went down 2-0, got it right back and dominated the rest of the match. But so it does seem to be a thing with Alcaraz where you can almost bet on there being. The problem is it's hard to take any advantage of from a betting perspective. I don't know how you take advantage of it, but there is kind of there's a one quick dip that kind of happens.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, we called it perfectly. I mean, we did 3-0. I think I did. I
had the point to win. I had the Alcaraz to win a point in every return game. Also,
return game at +400. We had.
I had 3-0. I had him covering the 6.5. I had
Alcaraz money line and serve 5 aces at +275.
I didn't have that. I wasn't as high on the Alcaraz aces. But
I was just because Tsitsipas didn't know where to stand on return, so I think he was kind of cheating towards one side, and that opened up the other side,
which is weird because Tsitsipas isn't a guy that gets aced all that often.
In this matchup, I thought he would. I mean, it's not like I got there with flying colors, but it was a 3-set match and he still got 6 aces, I think. So,
which also isn't that many aces.
It's not. But I thought so Alcaraz money line was out of the question, and then to serve 5+ aces at +275, I thought that was good value.
Yeah, I think in retrospect, because we talked about it beforehand. The fact that Alcaraz was -450 to win that match was insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
The money line side, the aces side of that wasn't the great side of that bet. The money line side was. So you kind of I feel like it was probably a good bet because you took advantage of the money line being so far off.
Right.
that but
well, I thought that the two matches in that half of the draw, the Alcaraz Tsitsipas line should have been where the Djokovic Kachanov line was.
Oh, we both completely agreed on that. Yeah, completely.
Right.
Like they were basically, although I did think I thought even minus 450 plus 350 would have been a little short for Kachanov. Like I would think that would be like more of like maybe a 450 500, and that like honestly I thought the Tsitsipas Alcaraz line could have even been bigger than like maybe not the game spread, but like the money line could have been bigger because like I thought there was a little bit of fear that like Tsitsipas would get like what you said, like 3-4 and forward. I thought was possibly or 3-4 and 6. I thought was a possibility.
Yeah. Right.
But I didn't see how Tsitsipas would actually win 3 sets in that match.
No.
Like in my mind, the peak for Tsitsipas was 1 set.
Definitely. I mean, I also hit the Tsitsipas under 2.5 breaks at minus 105. Like that was a no-brainer. Like how was
I hit the
breaks there?
Yeah.
And then Tsitsipas over 3.5 doubles, just because like he's gonna press on serve, because like that shot is really the only way for him to make progression. And if he has to hit second serves, he's gonna start pressing. I think he cleared that like easily. So I think I won that by like end of the first set, I believe. So
well, I mean, Tsitsipas played just had an awful match too.
True.
He only had 5 doubles for the match.
Oh, okay. So I guess he cleaned it up. But I remember
1 in the first set.
Oh, okay.
4 in the second. So you got there early. You got there like early in the second set, I think. He had like a really I think he might have thrown like a multi-double game, didn't he?
He did. He got broken to love, I think, first game of the second set.
Yeah, I'm actually looking now. They have the point by point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tsitsipas threw it. Yeah, he threw in 2 in the 5th game of the second set.
Yeah.
Was the killer. But yeah. So in terms of the top half, that's kind of my summary of the top half in terms of both betting and like what actually went down.
Yeah.
Bottom half, match of the tournament was Ruud versus Cerundolo.
That was a great match. Absolutely.
Again, Ruud like not there with the fitness, right? No. Like he had to basically take the 4th set off. And really he got lucky to win this because he had to win all the close sets.
Yeah.
And I think I think it is meaningful. Like I think there's a real problem here for Ruud in terms of fitness. And I know he's still young, but it's a problem. Because like
a problem.
like you can't just punt away. It's really like you can win matches punting away sets. You can. It's really hard to do it consistently.
And he only got it because Cerundolo got tight in the 5th. Because Cerundolo was the better player for most of that 5th set.
Agreed. Ruud got a let cord or not a let cord. He got like a shanked volley at set in the tiebreak, right, on a key point, like 6-7 or something.
Yeah.
Look, I think it was a really even match. Like I think it was a really even match at the times when Holger Rune was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like obviously the sets that Holger Rune took off, it wasn't close, but like, because so statistically Rune was better in the first. Rune was well better in the third.
Yeah, he won that set 6-4.
But he was by far the better player. And then the 5th again was Cerundolo was probably playing better through 4-all. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the 5th set Rune was probably the better player at the end, and that's how he won the match. But like, it leaves him really susceptible to like if he gets the negative side of variance, he's in real trouble.
Yeah, there were points where he would not just like the 4th set, like there were also like points where he would just kind of bail out and go for broke like out of nowhere and miss the ball by like 10 feet wide. Like it just, and I don't know what it is with him. I feel like it's cardio based. That's where I think that the fitness gap.
Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like he's just not putting enough time on the cardio.
He plays like one long ass point, and then he's like waddling around, huffing and puffing, and then like he just can't play the next point. Like
it really does feel like a cardio problem.
It's a cardio problem because it does, like he looks strong, like he looks fine. You know, like strength doesn't really appear to be an issue.
Yeah.
He hits the ball huge, right, on both wings.
Yeah.
So I think it's just pure cardio.
I mean, I guess maybe that is an issue though. Maybe he actually hits the ball too big and he like punches himself out. Because he has a tendency to do that sometimes where he's just hitting the ball like I think the biggest example of this where it was kind of stupid was in the match against Demonor in Acapulco. And I know we're going back like months, but like he was just like hitting like much bigger than necessary. And he punched himself out.
Well, that, and I also think that that's a product of him not being able to last in long points, and he doesn't have confidence that.
But I guess my question is it a chicken egg problem? Is he punching himself out, or like he's swinging? He's like he's trying to hit so hard, he's using so much energy, and like there's a time.
So you think like, it's a cardio plus lack of discipline problem, or the lack of discipline is a reaction to the cardio problem?
Well, I don't know. It's lack of discipline in this case. It's like lack of. It's just like. It's like it's trying to just out hit people instead of using just smart, good ball quality, right? Like, I mean, how many matches have we seen Novak Djokovic win when he's not really hitting the ball big?
Oh, a ton. There's so many.
Right, and like one of the advantages of that is like when you're not hitting the ball that big, you're not using like a ton of energy on the stroke, exploding into the stroke as hard, and so you're also like conserving energy at the same time. And I'm sure that Novak's cardio is miles better than Holger Rune, so I'm not arguing that they're like at the same level cardio wise.
Yeah,
but I think like there's something to be said for not having to hit the ball huge every shot.
I actually think when Novak plays his best tennis is when he D's up, and goes into like no miss mode. That's what he does in tie.
It's right? A combo, right? Like I'm not saying Holger Rune should go into that mode because I do think the fact that he's hitting but
he needs to implement a little bit of that.
Yeah, like Rublev's starting to do a much better job of that actually.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like I know this. Yes, I know you're not as much of a pro. I'm probably more of a pro Rublev guy than you, but like
I see his improvements.
What?
I see his improvements though. Like I get that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you with the Holger Rune issues. Like it feels like it's just cardio and fitness based.
Right. The only thing I would add is that maybe he's punching himself out and like hitting too big too often, and that also could be.
What about like nervous energy? Like I feel like he's extremely tight, kind of like he moves around so much, like in between points. Like he's constantly like
I don't know, like,
with his like legs and like he's just like he's too hyper in general. Like
I don't know. I don't know if that like plays into the like I think it's just fitness. Like it's I don't know. We've seen it over and over again, right? We've seen it so often that like I think it's mostly. I'm gonna go with it's mostly a fitness issue.
Fitness issue. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he came out so sluggish today. I mean, probably worse than Tsitsipas did against Alcaraz. I think, like, he was so bad in those first.
Which I don't know what that is. I don't think because like that match with Cerundo was not that long, so I'm not buying into it being.
And he had 48 hours. It was a night match today. Cool.
And it was his first long match of the tournament. So I just think he just came out sluggish for whatever reason. Like that happens sometimes. Like unfortunately, sometimes you do all the right things and you just come out and you're just like not there. And I think he just did like whatever reason he just didn't have it today for the first two sets.
Yeah, credit to him. He fought hard in the third and fourth, but it just like it's too little, too late, kind of thing.
I will say like Rune does fight hard.
He does.
He's a little immature and like. I mean, I don't like a lot of things about Holger Rune, honestly. Mm-hmm. But he does fight hard. I'll give him that.
He does fight. He doesn't really cave.
Not in terms of matches. He'll cave in sets. He'll tactically cave because sometimes he knows he has to, but he doesn't cave in matches.
Yeah, that's true. So Ruud makes it out of that quarter of the.
He's gonna make another final. He's proving you wrong. He's proving you wrong. I love it. Every time Casper wins, I love it because I'm like, man, he just has to be like, this guy sucks. I'll just make another final.
Well, you can't deny that he's the beneficiary of a super easy draw again.
But it's like not his fault.
No, it's not his fault.
It's not even the tournament director's fault. Like, well, and I guess in this case, he beat Rune. like Ruud's probably the third best player in this draw.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was high in our power rankings.
And Medvedev lost in the first round. That's not. I mean, what is Ruud supposed to do about that? He's supposed to like go coach
Yeah, no,
Medvedev now to make him
that's
better.
not his fault. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not his fault, but like, okay.
If you want to say it hasn't been impressive, I'll give you that. I'll also say like his has he done well in a single Masters outside of that one Miami run?
I think he made a few semis, like he made a semis in Rome, lost to Djokovic last year. I think he made a semis of Monte Carlo one year. I think that's about it.
Oh, he made the semis in Montreal. I didn't even realize that. Or Canada.
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
Montreal. Yeah, he destroyed FAA in the
He
quarter.
destroyed it. I forgot. I remember that match now. I'd forgotten about it up until now. Up until I looked it up.
Who did he lose to in the semis there?
Hubie.
That's right. Hubie. Oh yeah, and then Hubie lost to Carreno Busta. Yeah, that was a weird. That was a weird
tournament last year.
That was a weird tournament. Yeah.
Other than that, Madrid. Other than that, in terms of like other good runs, there's the Rome semis last year when he lost to Djokovic. There's a Madrid semis. He lost to Berrettini. So, like a Monte Carlo. So, like, yeah, I guess there's actually a pretty good pedigree here on clay. He actually is a pretty good clay court player.
I actually think best of 5 suits him more because I think like physically he's quite strong. Like he never really gives in physically. I also think he's quite smart tactically in what he does. Like,
so I don't know if it's. I don't actually. I like this is where I'm kind of going with this. Is like
he maximizes.
If you look at this, right? If you look at it, the guys who have physicality issues has a pretty high correlation with the guys who hit big. If you look at like higher ranked ATP guys, so like
besides Alcaraz,
right? So okay, so yeah, but if you look at like Alcaraz, beast. Medvedev doesn't hit the biggest, physically great, right? Yeah. Djokovic doesn't hit the biggest, physically great. Ruud doesn't hit the biggest, physically great. Forehand, he gets the spin, but like not really. He's not drilling every ball. Tsitsipas isn't really drilling every ball either. Physical fitness not a problem. Rune drills every ball. Physical fitness a problem. Rublev drills every ball. Physical fitness not a problem.
Well,
somewhere between on both. Sinner, physicality is a problem. Drills every ball.
Like, with him, it's due more to frailness and like.
But if you look at it just on the overall, right, of the guys in the top 10, the guys who I would say drill the ball every time are Sinner, Rublev, Rune, and Alcaraz. And 2 of those guys have major physicality issues.
Yeah, Rublev's issues stem from movement more than physicality and fitness, right?
I think, but like, I feel like with Rublev, it's like hard to judge. Honestly, like,
I don't think his movement, like he hits really big and like fitness is not a problem, but I don't think he moves quite as well. Like he's not as good at improvising under duress is what I'm saying. I
agree with all that, but I'm saying like I feel like with Rublev it's hard to judge because like he does seem to struggle in like long matches, but he's not like cramping where it doesn't look physical, but like maybe it is. Maybe I don't know, like you know what I mean? Like we chalk it up to like mental and like what?
He did lose a 2-set lead to Sonego and his level dipped.
That's what I mean. So we're saying his level dip, but did his level dip because of physical or mental? Maybe. He might just be like where it's not like the obvious like cramping that Rune has or the obvious gassing that Sinner has, But it's I think it's definitely interesting. It makes an argument for like you don't need to bash the ball.
Yeah, no, I mean we actually discussed this like in our matches. Like there was a point where I was being the aggressor, right? Kind of running you side to side, and then you did like 3 or 4 laps side to side, right? Made me hit one extra ball. I ended up winning the point, but then afterwards I'm like, you probably expended less energy than I did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, case in point, I think you won the next 3 points after that, because
Yeah.
like I was fatigued after that, like long ass point. I mean, granted, your fitness is probably better than mine just to begin with, but like still, like I was just totally gassed after hitting big, running you side to side for So, I mean, obviously they played such a higher level and they're trained to do this, but like I think it just proves the point that like hitting big is actually more tiring than just running.
Can be, yeah.
Can
Yeah,
be.
I think both are tiring.
Yeah, yeah, both are tiring. It's a tiring sport. Both
Yeah, it's
physical.
not an easy game. Not
Not
as
an
easy
easy
as
game.
I played pickleball the other day.
Uh-huh.
Pickleball way easier. It was like embarrassing. My buddy was like, "Let's play pickleball for a few minutes." Like, so we played a little
Yeah.
pickleball. So,
Oh, geez. Yeah.
his wife and his daughter were there, so like we played
Okay.
with them for like 10 minutes. It was like I will
It
say that it's more inclusive, right? Like
is.
like anybody can jump in and play, and
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's amazing how hard it is to hit the ball like well at all. Like you like I would hit the ball like a tennis ball and we go like halfway to the net. It was like so sad. Like you actually have to hit the ball like really hard for it to go anywhere. But it's like not hard to hit it hard, like hitting a wiffle ball.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Yeah.
like you just slap it. But like
Yeah. Yeah.
anyways,
Well,
enough pickle talk.
yeah.
Um
So
Nico
Casper.
Yari. Nico
Hmm?
Yari, another solid performance
Yeah.
on clay. Like I think this is probably the biggest like stretch we've seen from him of like consistent solid performances.
I would say so. He impressed me in that match against Ruud. And he was up breaks in both the second and third set, so got a little tight. I think Ruud did a good job of kind of weathering the storm and getting those breaks back. But yeah, I mean, Yari is really showing me something. I really think the biggest thing with Yari is he needs to employ a little bit more variation. He's too much just big serve, big forehand. I think he needs to employ a drop shot a little bit, especially when he pins the opponent deep. Like he needs a little bit more I think that's the next like step for him.
I don't actually know because like the problem is for him the movement's not great. So like the drop shot almost has to be a winner, and like he's not very good in like he's kind of I mean he's pretty one dimensional. Like we like Nico Yari, but like he's pretty one dimensional. So like if he employ like, a lot of times the drop shot ends up with you like these weird scramble situations and points. I don't think that plays well for Yari either. Like if he's gonna hit the drop shot, it has to be a winner.
Well, I think he needs to be exceptionally selective in when he uses it, more so than, say like an Alcaraz or a Tsitsipas who can defend after that. Like, but he's just bombing big, and he would start like when he wasn't playing that well, he would start missing it by like 5 inches or 6 inches,
Yeah, I
And
don't disagree.
like,
I think he could start using it. Like I'm not saying like he couldn't. I'm just saying like
Kachanov actually utilized it in the first and second sets against Djokovic, and I was quite impressed by that. Like that's the way Yari needs to implement that.
yeah, I don't disagree. I think there's a path there to implement that. I just don't. It's not going to become like a weapon for him. It's just like an occasional mix-up pitch.
Exactly. Yeah, and it kind of gets the opponent off guard because do they have to defend against this massive forehand, or do they have to defend against running in for a dropper? So,
And like, okay, so yeah, Yari beat Delian, Paul, and Marcos Giron here. Those aren't amazing wins, but I do think that's better than like anything that like a younger Nico Yari would have done.
that's
You know what I mean? He did pick up some wins in Monte Carlo. What?
They were fairly convincing wins.
3 sets, 4 sets, 4 sets.
That's better than he would have ever done. He's playing the tennis as a career. There's no doubt.
That's what I mean. Like he's like, I agree with you. Like I think like I guess my point in this is saying like in like non-altitude tournaments, I don't think he was like amazing, but like he was definitely playing it even without altitude. He's still playing at ATP level.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is like better than he's done.
He's playing top 30 level, to be honest.
I think close to that. Outside of altitude, he's way better. But when he's not at altitude, I think he's somewhere close to that. What?
Top 30.
When he's on like a clay court at sea level, somewhere near there. Yeah. Pretty close. But again, like that's way better than he's ever been. So it's like, it's cool. He's making progress. Absolutely.
I hit the Yari money line there. I think you hit did you hit the same?
No. I was on I was
Oh, you were on Ruud, right?
I think I was more staying away, if anything. I don't even remember what I was, but I think I was more staying away. Like
Okay.
I thought the line was really well. I told you afterwards, I thought the line was really well set. I'm
Yeah.
trying to look up what I hit in that match.
I hit Yari to break in sets 1 and 2 at plus 200, which hit. I had a painful loss with Ruud and Yari to tie on double faults. So
That is brutal.
Ruud had Ruud had 5 doubles and Yari had 4 going into the Yari's last service game. And it was, I think, add out or something. And he hits like this kind of kick serve and they call it out. And the chair umpire comes down. There was like a lag. The chair umpire comes out. He checks the mark and says it's in. And then on the broadcast, they show the Hawkeye. Hawkeye called it out.
So the Hawkeye was wrong.
Well, I don't know that. Maybe the umpire was wrong. Maybe he picked the wrong mark.
But it was close, right? Like the Hawkeye closed. I didn't see the match. Hawkeye closed.
It was really close. It was like literally a couple millimeters. Like, but
yes, like that is within Hawkeye's like margin of error, which is why it's funny. It's like, but you're right. Like the umps can miss see stuff too. I'm making funny. I'm not saying you're necessarily
but I'm just saying
wrong,
if this was 2025 and Hawkeye was at every tournament,
yeah,
I would have won that plus 550 bet.
Which I think I read somewhere that they're doing that. I think that's becoming an ATP standard. I think I read that in 25, but I'm not sure.
25, right?
Yeah.
So, yep.
I think it's a good thing. Like I think like we talked about this before. Like, is the Hawkeye gonna make mistakes? Yeah, but like the umps are just like.
No, there's been too many like close calls, too much subjectivity.
Right, I agree with you. It's too like, or at least the Hawkeye, if it messes up, like there's nothing you can do about it. And there's nothing to argue with, right? Whereas like these umps, like the umps, sometimes they come out of the chair, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, sometimes they argue with the players over the mark. Sometimes they come out and pick the wrong mark because like they're flustered. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Like what's most ridiculous to me is that these 250s and 500s have the challenge system and this Grand Slam doesn't.
Like I said, I think I think like Guy Forget always said, like, I don't know if he's a tournament director anymore, I think it's Maresmo now, but he always said that like, you know, that they didn't need it because the umps could see which mark it was on the clay. I just think I just don't think they can. I agree with you. I disagree with him on like the merits of that statement. Like, but I don't know, like it's always hard to judge intent, right? It's hard to judge, like, does he truly believe in his umps or is he just being cheap? And it's really hard to judge that.
Yeah.
But I think that the data shows in my mind that, like, not the data, but like there's been enough instances of the umps not being competent that. And it's not just on those calls either, right? It's even on things like the double bounce in the Rune match versus Cerundolo. Like,
yeah, that too, which was poor sportsmanship, I think, on Rune's part, because like you clearly know when the ball double bounces. I'm not saying that, but like it's not his job to make the call.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was going to. I agree with you. I prefer to see the players own it in that case. Like, I think there's kind of an edict in tennis that says you should, in my opinion. But I don't know if Holger Rune subscribes to that. I think we've seen plenty of instances now where he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. But like a double bounce is clearly something that you can feel and you know it's a double bounce.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think every double bounce necessarily.
A line
but
call
I think that
or something,
sure.
like if it hits a line and the line judge kind of subjectively says that, oh, this was in when it was out or something like that. I understand that. Like you shouldn't give up points on that, right? But like something like a double bounce, that's something a player has to concede.
I would prefer if he conceded it.
Okay, you're not holding him against it.
It's hard. Like when we get into things like this, like different people are gonna have different opinions, right? And like I just wish Ruud would more like own up to it. Like if he's gonna be that guy, I just wish he would like own up to it. I feel like he's kind of like wussy about it.
Yeah, he wants to be known as this like really good sportsman and amazing sportsmanship and stuff like that, and then he doesn't.
But then he's a conceited, cocky dick.
Right. Exactly. So
yeah. So that's probably my biggest. I guess you could call it a frustration there, because I do feel like it's Yeah, but my biggest frustration in the the Ruud draw match. I had Casper in 5 at plus 440, and like that match was close enough. It could have. Yeah, but I didn't really play much on that match. I thought the book hit that like really well.
Pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just saying the draw was completely because like he was only like a plus 140 favorite or something, or plus 160 favorite. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a huge dog. He wasn't a huge dog yard. He was like a pretty short dog. So like
plus 160, 165.
Yeah. So I think like he was vicinity. And I think he was roughly that live. Like I mean, he wins that roughly 1 out of 3.
Okay.
Like
I don't regret the bet by any means because like he was up breaks in second and third set.
But I guess here's an interesting question, right? Like if you're up breaks and then you lose from a break up, is that better or worse than being a breakdown, coming back and losing close?
Oh, it's
or are they the same?
That's about the same, but the fact that he was breaks up shows that he has a chance. Like it shows me that the read wasn't totally off.
I think the read was slightly off. Like I said, I think the books were like, there were a couple matches where the books like hit it on the head, like this and then the Zverev etch match today. The books just hit the match on the head. Like the books had the perfectly right narrative.
Right. And then the Ruud Rune match, like I feel like that should have been a total stay away match.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that we hit it in different ways, like it just wasn't really smart. Like
no,
it was a total stay away because like we didn't know how Rune would react after being.
But I don't know if it's like I think it was just that has to have just been a random thing, and like maybe something happened to Rune also that we don't know about. Because like it has to be like something.
There were rumors that he was building a cottage out in Denver or something like that, and that's where his focus was.
You mean Denmark?
Denmark.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see that as having been like the determining factor. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird that he got whooped like that the first 2 sets because I don't think that was in anybody's range of outcomes.
No, even pro Ruud bettors, I'm sure weren't
saying 1 and 2. Yeah. I don't think there was anybody on the Ruud want to win every set 6-0, 6-1, or 6-2 line in that match.
I know.
You know, so
and then the bottom quarter, let's talk a little bit about. So the Zverev just put a beat down on Dimitrov, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to say about that besides like
Dimitrov. No, I mean Dimitrov is susceptible to this too at times.
He does.
You know, like this is the problem with Dimitrov. This is why I hate betting Grigor matches because he's just susceptible. Like he's bad, and I guess maybe he's just susceptible to these bad performances. It feels like 1 out of every 10 matches, Grigor just doesn't show up.
Last year against Schwartzman, remember?
Right.
I think we all played it. It was like 2-3-2 or something like ridiculous. Yeah. Like what are you doing? Like you're the more talented player, and you can argue that he's more talented than Zverev, right?
Yeah, I mean, he just look 1 out of every 10 matches, Dimitrov just doesn't show up.
Yeah, that's true. It might be 1 out of like 7 or 8. Actually, not.
Yeah, 10. I mean, I was being a little. I mean, that's pretty close, right?
But it is close, but I think you're being generous.
But it makes him really hard to bet on because, like, you always like, how do you bet on a guy? Because like when we bet on like thin margins. So if you're giving up 10% is huge. You realize that 10% is the difference between even money and plus 150.
It's big. Yeah.
So like if you have to give up like that much of a difference because of like Dimitrov maybe not showing up, it makes him so hard to bet on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're totally right. Totally right.
And it's not just that slam. Like he like there was the match against Kubler where he lost to Kubler in one of the tournaments where like he shouldn't have lost. You know, he has I'm telling you, like 1 out of every like 8 matches is just like a Grigor no show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
No surprise that Echeverry beat up on Yoshi.
Yeah, it was basically a 1-set match.
Yeah.
Right? After
I think Yoshi gassed out.
Yeah, he kind of fought back in the first, right?
Yeah. And I think Yoshi just I mean, honestly, this was kind of a lucky run for Yoshi.
Yeah.
Like and then we talked about it on the 4th round preview, but I think didn't he beat Jordan? He beat Purcell in round 2, right? he came back from 2 sets down against JJ Wolf,
Mm-hmm.
and then beat Purcell, and he beat probably gassed out Wield.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
No, he had a great draw for sure. Took advantage of it, but I mean, yeah, Etch is just way better on clay and just hits way bigger on both
yeah,
sides. Like that forehand is just like gonna cause him so much trouble. Like,
and
if he
Edge
has
is
a
and he's a,
float,
and Edge is a pretty consistent. Like I've noticed with Edge, he doesn't miss balls that he shouldn't,
no, no,
and
I
there's
agree.
like something to be said for that.
I actually think also Yoshi is a good matchup for him because like Yoshi's gonna loop that forehand, and if it like lands kind of short in the court, like he's just gonna run around and smack a forehand.
Yeah,
Like that.
and I think for Etch, like again, that's why I said like Etch, like it's a big deal in that matchup that Etch doesn't miss balls that he shouldn't.
Mhm. I'd
Which is
agree.
again like a very like weird narrative for a pro player, but it's like
Yeah.
it's a real narrative. Like I mean, Rune missed plenty of balls today that he shouldn't have missed.
Right. Right. That's actually exactly what I was thinking
Yeah.
as you were saying that. Like before you said that, I was thinking about Holger Rune. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um.
yeah, yeah, and then the
Yeah, actually
quarterfinal
impressed me. And
today,
then like what?
the quarterfinal against the Zverev Etch quarterfinal.
I mean, I hit it in a bunch of different ways. There were more. I think I still won on the breaks props. I think it ended up at 8.
Yeah, it
But
ended up at
like,
8, and then I think Zverev had 5 and Etch had 3.
yeah,
Right, we got lucky with a kind of a low break fourth set. I think there was just one
yeah.
Zverev break. Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I the overall match, I wasn't surprised. I probably should have hit Zverev 3-1 because I thought it was.
Mhm.
I thought there was a chance Zverev would straight set him also. Like it's just a really tough matchup for Etch. Like, and it's just kind of like, and it kind of shows Etch's limitations, right? Like he's just like he's so reliant still at this point on the forehand, and like the
I
rest
think
of his
his
game is.
backhand has improved quite a bit.
I agree with that, but he still is like that's why I said he's still reliant on the forehand. Like he doesn't have anything else that's like plus in his game.
Well, I think it boils down to Zverev's movement just being better, right? And like
You
rally
know, but that's a different.
slightly
Like Zverev
better.
has a plus backhand and
Yeah,
really good movement,
right.
right? Whereas Etch has a forehand that's really good, and like there's a bunch of other things he does okay. But like,
And what actually came to the forefront in this match is that Zverev actually volleyed very well in this matchup, which surprised me actually. Like he hit like I don't know if you saw a lot of the match, but like he hit like 4 or 5 cold winners on the forehand volley, which were quite impressive. So I think like the net game was better. It was an edge for Zverev here as well.
yeah,
So I don't know. Yeah, in terms of Etch, like I like where he's headed. I
he's
see
young. He's only 23.
23. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So seems like he has a good head on his shoulders, mentally strong.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I like Etch. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
question the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
I question the ceiling with Etch. I think you
Serve
know,
could get a little bigger,
yeah. But
right?
I just don't know, like, you know, how much more athletic he's gonna get.
Yeah, I think he needs to get a little better at net. I think he has to be a little bit more willing to come in off those big forehands.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think that's another improvement.
But I just don't see like the forehand's really good, but I don't see like the. And I guess it depends like how we're defining him. Like, will he be a good pro player? Yeah, I think so. But I
Mhm.
think he'll be more of like a journeymanish type. Like what do you think Etch's ceiling is right now?
Does he
Like
crack the
between
top?
10 and
Does
20?
he? Yeah, I would say so. Does he
Which is
crack?
really good, right? Like
Does he
is really,
crack the
really
top
good.
10 ever? It's tough. It's tough to say, but
Does he crack it for more than 6 months in a period? No. Like, does he crack it in the way that like Busta cracked it for like a few weeks? Maybe.
yeah. Okay.
And I'm
Yeah.
not saying him and Booster are the same player. I don't think they're the same player at all. But I just mean like I think like his overall skill level kind of is somewhere in that range. Or like he could end up being like a really solid player that probably hangs out mostly in the 20s. Occasionally moving up and down depending on, a good run in a tournament here or there. But like,
Yeah.
and I see him becoming a guy that like almost a gatekeeper for ATP guys. Like a guy that just makes his living consistently beating like the guys he should beat.
I mean, it's also a success story because he was primarily playing challengers like all of last year, and then like now he's like a mainstay on the tour, right? So like I think
it's great, good for him. You know what I mean? Like good for him
it
in terms of
shows
like,
that like the hard work, like he's a clear example of like hard work paying off, which is
yeah,
another
for
reason why I
sure.
like him. So yeah, and then
Another note, I guess, guys who are because now you mentioned like Etch now gonna he'll be with mainstay on the tour. Schwartzman and Isner both out of the top 100.
yeah, that's
I mean, Isner's
for
done, right?
obvious
Like
reasons. Yeah.
Isner's done.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is like how many wild cards will he continue to steal during this upcoming U.S. Open Series season?
Probably all of them.
Yeah,
Definitely Atlanta. Definitely
definitely
DC.
Cincinnati,
Definitely Cincinnati. Yeah.
and I'm sure he'll steal U.S. Open wild card
Oh
also.
yeah. Yeah. Right. But back to like Zverev and Rune a little bit. Like the best bet that happened for us is over on double faults.
Yeah, I know. I
I mean,
know.
like we cashed in on like all of those. Well, Sissipas too, but I think that was more matchup specific. But like as far as Rune goes, like first of all, I don't know why he's double faulting, especially when Ruud is like standing like 8 to 10 feet or 10 to 15 feet behind the baseline. Like he's not going to hurt you from back there. So why are you like?
And I didn't
triple
bet the double
serving?
fault line in that match. But I didn't. I don't like. It was a weird thing today because I don't think it's really like a common problem for him.
He's been
Like he
doubling
doubles
quite
a
a bit.
little, but it's not bad.
Against Cerundolo, he hit a ton of
No,
doubles.
he was it was
This
bad
past
against
weekend.
Cerundolo also, but that was a long match too.
Okay.
Um,
But we were expecting a long match here, right?
yeah,
This
that's
wasn't a long
true.
match and it still got
That's
there,
true.
but like we were expecting one.
That's true. Um, I'm looking at something.
Zverev over on doubles, it's just a no-brainer. If it's under 10, you just
Well,
hit it.
he's one of the worst guys on tour. I'm looking something up really quickly here because there's a couple of interesting stats here. I was looking up earlier today. So Rune double faults. He does double fault more than average, but he's not that bad. Like he's like in the top 10 in the tour in double faulting, which is bad, but it's not like excruciatingly bad. Neither is Zverev, by the way. What's interesting about Zverev is his double faults are actually he double faults less than Rune does. But in terms of second serves, so let's see, Manny, trivia question for you. Top 5 most likely guys to double fault on a second serve in tennis.
Where are these guys ranked?
So I'm taking only top 50 guys. Top 50 ranked guys.
I need a list.
Top 5 most likely to double on a second serve. So like once they miss the first serve, who's most likely to double on the second serve specifically?
I would say Bodic is up there.
Bodic is 1.
Chapeau.
Chapeau's 2.
Cressy.
There's what?
Cressy, obviously.
Yeah, you should be fine if you don't get Cressy. Like
right.
Cressy misses 29% of second serves.
So there are 2 more.
There are 2 more.
And they're all in the top 50?
Yep.
All right, so I'm narrowing my choices down to Sonego, Lechka.
Is Sonego top 50?
Yeah. So I guess he's not on the list.
Yeah.
And Zverev and Rune are not on the list.
I didn't say either way.
Okay. All right. My next guess is going to be Musetti.
No, Musetti's not even anywhere near the top.
No.
Musetti's actually the like fourth from the
Yeah,
bottom.
because he kind of does like a 3/4 first. So, uh, Chilich?
Cilic is up there, but he's not top 5. Cilic is number 6.
Number 6.
I'm pretty impressed there. You actually how well you did. I'm pretty impressed that you got like Shep. I think I would have gotten, and Cressy was obvious, but Bodic was a good pull.
Okay.
I would have never thought of Bodic.
Lechka?
Nope.
No. Fokina?
No.
No. All right. I'm reaching.
Yeah, you're out of guesses.
Okay.
Kyrgios and Zverev were the two you missed.
Okay. All right. That
But,
makes
it's not surprising. Zverev. My point is like the second serve is bad, and it goes through time. He just goes through like the yips on the second serve.
Yeah.
And he's kind of, and a lot of how he's gotten around it is with the first serve.
I mean, he has an amazing first serve, and the percentage is actually
well, and he started making a lot more of them, and I think that's really helped him. And I think that's what's kind of interesting about it.
Yeah,
because he's actually in terms of, so again, I'll go to the stats here. Zverev is second on the tour in terms of first serve percentage.
Interesting.
Ironically, Kyrgios is third.
Yeah.
And Sonego's fourth. Alcaraz fifth.
Wow.
Number 1 is Baez. You would have never guessed that. I would have asked you as a trivia question, but you would have never gotten it.
I think they brought it up on the broadcast today, like on the Tennis Channel broadcast when they were talking about Zverev's first serve.
They brought up Baez?
Yeah, they brought up Baez because Courier said something at one point today on the broadcast, but
it's just funny because obviously
he just
has to
lays in 3/4 serve, 3/4 first serve.
But it's not necessarily dumb for him because he's good enough on points to do it, and he really does not want to hit second serves.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, just kind of
any other takeaways from the last 2 rounds?
I mean, the books hit this Zverev match exactly right.
They did.
With the exception of the doubles.
They did. Even the 5.5 was perfect.
Yeah, they bit 4, but that was perfect. It was plus or minus a break.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, not really. We talked about every match, every guy.
Yeah. All right. So that brings us to the semifinals.
And I'm guessing you want to talk about the bottom half first.
Absolutely. I wonder how they're going to schedule these.
That hasn't come out yet, has it?
Well, because the Djokovic Alcaraz have played on Tuesday, so they get 2 days off, but that's clearly the marquee semis. So are they going to put that second? Or are they going to put those guys first? Like last year, they put the Zverev Nadal one first.
Do they put one at night, or do they still run them both in the day?
They run them back to back, but they changed the fans, so they have 2 sessions.
Yeah.
But I'm curious.
I feel going back historically, they would run them. A lot of times they would run the better semi first.
I thought they would run the better semi second.
I'm going back to when they ran Djokovic, Nadal. Remember the 9-7 in the 5th?
Yeah. Well, no. The reason why that one was first was because a Frenchman was playing the semi. Tsonga played.
Good call.
So that was the only reason why that one was second.
Okay.
The only thing I can remember is last year the Nadal Zverev one was first.
I do remember that, yeah.
And the Ruud and Cilic was second. So, yeah. But that's the only one I can remember. So it's going to be interesting how they schedule it. I don't really think it matters from a condition standpoint, but they are expecting some afternoon showers.
But that's right now, right? There's time for that forecast to change.
Right.
But
no, well, it cleared up actually. So it's sunny. So it doesn't really matter.
But there's time for that forecast to change.
Yeah, true. All right. Well, let's share the screen here. All right, let's talk a little bit about Ruud Zverev. So, Casper Ruud is
Basically a pick 'em.
basically pick 'em. Yep, Zverev is minus 120. Ruud is even money. The over under is 39.5. Do you have a lean here?
Leaning Rude, but I think this is a hard match to call. Have we seen these guys play before?
They've played. I think Ruud won their last meeting in Miami in the quarterfinal.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 Zverev. Zverev won in Cincinnati and Paris on faster courts, and Ruud won on a slower court.
This is a really hard match to pick for me.
I feel like Ruud at even money here is the play. Like, I don't think this line is way off, but I think it probably should be flipped.
See, I'm leaning Zverev. It's interesting that you say that you're leaning Ruud because I'm leaning Zverev. I just think if Zverev is able to get to a backhand to backhand exchange, I don't see how Ruud gets out of that patent.
I
And I
guess this
feel
is
like,
something we said though if Ruud gets into a forehand to forehand exchange.
well, I feel like Zverev on a clay court, I feel like he can defend that better than Ruud can defend the other way. Because like Ruud's backhand slice is a defensive shot, but it's usually just floating in the air. It doesn't really have bite to it or anything like that.
Yeah.
I feel like Zverev will kind of be able to bully him around in more rallies. Plus, I think he has an edge, especially if he has a high first serve percentage, which we just discussed. Like, I think he's going to be able to hold slightly easier than Ruud. The only thing which makes me nervous about that is Ruud, I think, has a slight mental edge. I think he's the stronger.
But I don't think it's slight. I think it's significant.
Significant.
Yeah, I think there's a significant mental edge. Neither guy. I mean, Ruud's lost a bunch of sets, but I don't think it's a problem. I also think there's. I still think like where is the big win that Zverev's had since his injury? Like, what's the big win? Tiafoe?
Yeah, Etch.
Yeah, I mean, really, right?
I
this
guess.
is a bigger match, I think, for Zverev than it is for Ruud. Like,
Okay. I
so
mean, it's
all
a big
that
match for
makes me
both.
say, like, that's I guess, and I guess I'm not as worried. Like, so I do think the forehand to forehand exchange counteracts the backhand to backhand, but it's tricky because like if Zverev makes a whole bunch of first serves, then Ruud's in trouble. I agree.
But I actually don't think Ruud's forehand is that like will hurt Zverev too much because
He's
like
not as
it's a
bad because Zverev's
skinny.
so tall.
Right, exactly. That's my point. So if Ruud gets a few forehands to hit and he doesn't hit it perfectly, and Zverev is there with a two-hander, like that's not going to hurt him.
Yeah.
I think tennis-wise, Zverev has the edge. The problem is mental-wise, Ruud has the edge. It's kind of similar to the
I don't know if
Ruud
like,
match.
but then why has Zverev struggled so much? I mean, not struggle. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if Zverev's been that good that you can say he has the tennis edge.
Do you fully trust Ruud with his tennis? I mean, he hasn't been that great either. He's had slightly better wins, but I kind of throw away the Rune match because like Rune was horrible in the first two sets.
Yeah, I mean, it's close. Like, I don't like. I guess my argument with you is that you kind of said that as a convincing. Like, Zverev definitely has the better tennis, the better talent level. And like,
It's close.
I think it's close. And I think like the second serve obviously favors Ruud. Um, Ironically, Ruud's been fine against guys taller than 6'4". I'm just looking at just as a curiosity, like to see how true that like forehand into the tall guy is. Like Ruud is 32-18 in his career against guys taller than 6'4".
But how many of those guys have good backhands?
But Ruud's. I mean, Ruud's hitting his forehand into Zverev's forehand, right? So I'm not sure why the backhand matters. Like the majority of the time, right? The cross court's going to go forehand to forehand.
Okay, I guess. I think this is a kind of match where I'm going to stay away from the money line, and I'm going to look more towards the props and the breaks.
The over under? Like, what about the over of 39.5? Is that too many games in your mind?
So high. Usually,
if it really is this close, then that's where it should be.
I'd rather hit over on breaks here and attack that angle of it. Like if breaks is over 9.5, I don't think it's out yet.
What makes you say that there's going to be a ton of breaks here?
Zverev second serve. Like
if he has to hit it.
Yeah, Zverev got broken quite a bit against Etch.
3, right? 3 and 4 sets. That's not terrible on clay. It's actually probably what I would expect.
Tiafoe also broken 5 times. And he's not a good returner by any means.
No, although he's gotten better at it.
I think Ruud is a better returner than Tiafoe, obviously.
I think Ruud is the best return. Well, although ironically, Ruud's stats, and I don't know how inflated they are or how deflated they are by playing more matches at altitude, but like Ruud's stats on the return aren't that great on clay. His serve stats are actually pretty good, ironically.
I mean, Yari broke him 3 times.
What?
Yari broke him 3 times, and I think Zverev is a way.
But that's not terrible on clay, right? Like I think you have to kind of reevaluate your.
Yeah, but I don't view Yari as a good returner. I view Zverev as a better returner than Yari. And if he had 3 breaks, you expect him to get a couple more. I want to see what it's set at, because if it's like 7.5, I'm definitely hammering the over.
See, I would probably agree with you. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be somewhere in the 9 range. Like it should definitely be higher than Etch Zverev was. You would agree with that, right?
Should.
Like A, because it's a closer matchup, which means longer match, which means more breaks. B, because I think that I think just and I think ironically, like in terms of the tennis, like I think the tennis itself, like the matchup lends itself to like more even rallies, whereas like I felt like the Etch Zverev guy was going to be like one guy was going to take control of the point. Like anytime there's Etch, right? Like he needs to take control of the point, and like if he doesn't take control of the point, it's not going to go as well for him. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like Zverev is better, or Ruud is better than Etch in terms of getting out of defensive positions.
Okay,
he's not amazing at it, ironically. Like for a clay quarter, but he's not. He's better at it than Etch.
Yeah. How about like these over-unders on like the player itself?
Why? But you're almost like horning yourself into picking a money line here, picking a guy to win at least 2 sets.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean? Like you're like and when you have like these so in order to get plus money, you got to go over 20.5, or you got to get over 20 to get minus 105.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like
it's a lot. You're right. Do you like the over on games?
I think I do. I was looking Ruud, and he didn't play a tiebreak. Like one of my bets today was Ruud to play was a tiebreak in that match, because Ruud's played tiebreaks in like I think like 60% of his matches here on clay. But like Ruud plays a lot of tiebreaks.
Yeah, surprisingly, he does.
But it makes sense though, because like again, like ironically, like, and I think it's more because he uses the serve to like set up the forehand, and he uses like the straight serve to ace guys or hit unreturnables. But like Ruud's serving stats are really good on clay.
Surprisingly, it doesn't feel that way from the eye test.
And like I said, that's why I'm not sure. I agree with you, and it might be inflated by altitude. I'm not sure, but like if you look, 2023 on clay. I'm looking it up, but he's pretty high. Ruud is 7th on the tour in 2023 in terms of service points won percentage on clay. And really he's 6th because Berrettini's number 1, but he only played 2 matches. So he's really 6th.
Interesting.
Tsitsipas was number 1. Tsitsipas, Yari, Wolf, Fritz, Khachanov, then Ruud.
But the fact that those are the names on that list, doesn't it show that stat doesn't really matter?
It matters in terms of holding serve and getting to tie breaks.
Okay.
Right? Like, ironically, what's weird is that he's not that good at winning return points. He's like average on the return side, which is why he's good, which is why he's really good. But why, you're saying he's not great because he's not doing what like Djokovic and Alcaraz are doing, where he's breaking guys over and over again, right? Like,
yeah, that's true. So you're saying tie breaks you like tie breaks here? You think that?
I think I like the over, but this is a really tough match to call. Like, I'm probably going to try to stay away from this match more because I think this is a really tough match to call. I agree with you.
Let me see what the line is like over 1.5 tie breaks if I can find it on a different book.
Yeah. Also, if you want a mental narrative, right? Like Zverev definitely has a propensity for being mentally challenged at times, in terms of closing out. So like that would also theoretically lend itself to more tie breaks.
Right, because if he's like 5-3 serving for a set,
that's no guarantee.
Right. So over 1.5 tie breaks here is plus 540.
Kind of like that.
You like that?
I think that's a good price. And like for a match, like both guys should be live to win a set here, right?
Absolutely. I would like a 5-set line if there was one on Bovada.
Yeah.
I think 5 sets is very likely here.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to hit that over 1.5 tie breaks. I like that better, especially at that price, more than the over 39. That's just so many games.
It is. And if one guy shows up, you're done. Or one guy fails to show up like today, you're done.
You're done. You're done.
And a 6-2 set really hurts you. If you have a 6-2 set, you probably need 5. Like,
right. You're done. Yeah. So I don't know. That's the angle I'm going to take here. And then I want to see the break props because I expect some breaks here.
Yeah. I also don't hate the Ruud money line here. Like, I just feel like this match is so damn even that, like,
just take the better price on the money line.
It's the better price, and like, but I'll probably look and see what the props look like because you're right. There might be props that like look better than that even money line. Like, I don't love it. Yeah. But if I had a lean there, the lean would be the money line, and the play would be the tie break.
Okay. All right.
Any other thoughts on this match before we go to the other one?
Yeah, let's go to the other one, which is probably the popcorn match of the year, right?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to say it. Popcorn match of the year so far.
Yeah. All right, Alcaraz Djokovic -4.
This is going up. This was 3.5 when I looked at it earlier today. It's now up to 4.
Yeah. People are hammering the Alcaraz side of it, I guess. -210. And then over under is 38.5. Man. I think the line is accurately set.
And I think this is way off. I think this is at least 2 games off. I'm hard on Alcaraz here.
Why you?
I
You
guess
think
like outside of
you think it should be
Novak
6?
Djokovic, what?
You think it should be 6?
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of Novak Djokovic being Novak Djokovic and like having 22 slams, yada yada yada. Like, what makes you say he can be competitive here?
His experience, the Alcaraz dip, which we're probably going to not just get one dip, we're probably going to get 2. And it's probably going to be harder for him to get it back because he's playing a way better opponent, a way more experienced opponent.
Well, I don't know if the experience makes it harder for Alcaraz to come back off a dip.
Okay, fair. But just
now
it's better. He's a better player than everyone else besides Alcaraz.
But I agree with that. But like Alcaraz has just run through everybody this tournament. And granted, he hasn't had a guy who we really thought would be like a tough. Well, we thought Musetti would give him a challenge, and Musetti didn't really. And Musetti was bad, but like Musetti didn't give him a challenge, and like, but he's just like run through everybody, just annihilated. Like, yeah, I guess Taro Daniels snuck out a set, but like again, that felt more like variance than anything else. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I have a really hard time. Like,
so do you like the Alcaraz like 3-0 line?
No, the line I like here is what is the set spread?
-1.5 sets for Alcaraz, -115.
I think that's really good. Like that is my play here because I actually agree with you. I think Novak's live to get a set here, but I don't think if I had to call the way this match is going to go, there's going to be 3 tight sets and 1 blowout set. Novak takes one of the tight sets.
Okay,
which equates like a 5 to 6 game spread. So I guess that's my play here. So I like either that's probably my favorite is Alcaraz less like laying the set and a half at -115. I was hoping it would be better than this actually the line, but it's not. But yeah,
so
I feel
do you like the Alcaraz 3-1 then at +290?
No, well, I don't hate it. I'll probably go with that as well.
That's my play here. I like the 1.5 sets. Like when I initially looked at these lines, that's where I was heading to. I like the 3-1 better at +290. Do you like Alcaraz over 5.5 breaks?
Yes.
I like that too. +115 you get on that.
Yeah.
But I don't like any on the Djokovic side.
No, I don't either. And what I don't really understand here is why is the gap for a 4-game spread? Why are we? It's really weird that like we're getting +115 on over 5.5, but the over 3.5 is -150. Like 4 games is 2 breaks. So like, why are we there's seems to be something weird here where like the book is implying that it's closer than 4 games. I think the derivative market is just off here. I think because of the line.
I think 4 games is the appropriate spread. I don't think 6. 6 is just disrespectful to Novak.
I think it's fair. I get why you'd say that because like Novak's just a pedigree, but like, I mean, Alcaraz, it would just be more of a reflection of how good Alcaraz. Like Djokovic has looked human this tournament, right? When he's played, like every guy has given him a challenge in one set, at least. And Fokina and Khachanov. I mean, Khachanov gave him a pretty good match for like most of the match, with the exception of the third set.
And you could argue Fokina should have won both the first and the second set.
I don't know if should, but they were darn close.
Yeah.
Like, because you have to wait in the fact that Fokina, gives away every
The
time.
mental gap was just so enormous in that match.
Yeah.
What do you think of Alcaraz over 1.5 breaks in the first set? Granted, of how fast Alcaraz has started and how slow Djokovic has started.
Yeah, I like that.
Like just that narrative of like how quickly either guy has come out of the blocks.
Yeah.
You know, like I like that too. Or do you prefer over 2.5 breaks in set one? I don't, because like I could
No, I
see
prefer just the Alcaraz side of this. The over 1.5 breaks for Alcaraz.
my score line I see is like Alcaraz winning the first like 6-2. Second set Alcaraz or Djokovic squeezes out a 7-6. And then like a 6-4 Alcaraz in set three, and then like a 6-4 6.
So that's a 7-game spread, Manny. It's a little higher than the 4 that you want to put on there.
Yeah, I mean that's how I like see it, but I just like I'm not guessing exact scores here. I'm just kind of pushing a narrative. And
But that's why I think the spread's a little off here. I think it should be 6 now. I think I prefer laying the set and a half as opposed to laying the 4 games.
yeah.
But like, because I do think like Alcaraz has a peak level that Novak just can't reach
At this moment, yes.
Yeah, and Djokovic's like floor level is actually been kind of bad this tournament.
His peak level has been excellent.
Who, Djokovic?
Djokovic, like second set tiebreak against Kachanov.
We just haven't seen much of it. We've seen Alcaraz peak for much longer stretches. I don't know if Djokovic can actually peak for longer than like a few games.
Yeah.
Which again is why I think he's very live to get a set. But like this could be a beatdown. Like I'm tempted to throw some money on like a and I don't necessarily like the 3-0 because plus 205 is it's okay. I might put a little sprinkle a little bit on the 3-0 plus 205. Just as a price play. Not that I think it's gonna come through, but just as a price play.
Okay.
Or the plus 210 is what I would do. I would take the better line, but
it's www. Oh, plus 215, even better.
There you go.
What's Djokovic to not win a set? Plus 250.
Plus 250. That I think is good. I think you have to take that too. Like, how do you not? So, like, actually, that's the play. It's not, you don't do, man, it's close. Like, trying to think of something here. No, that's not the right play. Yeah, you would still prefer to just take the minus 1.5 sets, but that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably just take the minus 1.5 sets.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're sprinkling on the plus 250 and the plus 290, at that point you're better off with just the minus 1.5 sets.
Yeah. Do you like the aces and doubles? Do you like the draw on the aces?
What?
Granted that both guys are even money on the ace on most aces, like the draw on the aces doesn't look bad.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty close. Alcaraz on clay this year, 5% of the time is getting aces. Djokovic 4.6.
Is Alcaraz a hard guy to ace?
What?
Is Alcaraz a hard guy to ace?
Very, yeah. He's near the top. He's actually, yeah. He's near the top. And actually, Djokovic, we're talking before. Djokovic is pretty average in that category.
Interesting.
He's more aggressive, right? He stands further up. So I actually think I like Alcaraz on the aces. But maybe not, because Djokovic is starting to serve. I don't know. I gotta. That was gonna require a little more review, a little more looking. But I think I'm probably on Alcaraz.
Plus 750 on the draw is quite appetizing.
Yeah, I gotta look at it more.
Okay.
Any thoughts on the dubs?
It's surprising that Alcaraz is a tough guy to ace Granted, he's not that small. Like, he's not that tall.
No, but he stands a little further back, right?
Yeah. And I feel like he just has like elastic arms. Like when he's back there,
Yeah.
it's just like he he just gets the balls that no one else does.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
But I think you need to be really careful. I think looking at those ace double fault lines, like you just gotta be really careful. I'm gonna need to spend a little time on those because like there's a lot of factors there, right? Like outside of just pure stats. Like Djokovic was hurt for a lot of that clay season, so you kind of got to take that into account. It's just that one's gonna require a little thought.
We haven't looked at any of these props, which there are a gazillion of. Alcaraz to win the first service game, first set and match at plus 110.
I like that.
Djokovic to win his first service game to
I think
love
that's a silly one. I don't think I've ever hit that prop.
Yeah. Alcaraz to win the match in under 41.5 games at plus 130.
That's a bet I like a lot, actually. That might be the play over the laying a set and a half, because like 41.5, are you really do we really see this being like a ton of tie breaks?
I see one in there. There's going to be a tight set for sure.
You know, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe 41.5 is a lot here. I don't know. Maybe not.
It's tough because if it goes 5 sets, then like you lost that.
Well, no, the question here is, do I like that more or the set spread line more, right? Like that's the question there. The set spread at minus 115 or the under 41.
I think the set spread is slightly better just because like
I think so too.
Then you don't have to worry about tie breaks and stuff. You just like
I think so too.
Because like 1 or 2 tie breaks and you're screwed.
Yep.
So, but how about this one? Alcaraz to win the match in over 35.5.
Don't like it. I think there's a chance of a beatdown here.
I see. I don't see any chance of a complete beatdown.
I'm not saying it's the likely narrative that I see. I'm saying I think there's a chance of it.
Okay. Alcaraz to win and no tiebreak in the match is plus 165.
I think I prefer the Alcaraz in the tiebreak.
At plus 180.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, they did play in Madrid and there were 2 tiebreaks there. I know there's altitude.
That's so long ago now, right?
Okay. And there's altitude there, so yeah. But that's the only like head-to-head that we have to go off of. 2+ tiebreaks in the match is plus 500. I prefer it in the Ruud match.
Yeah, me too.
Alcaraz to lead 4-2 after 6 games in sets 1 and 2.
That's not terrible. Like that might be a play. If you like, that might be my like. I'm looking at one of these lines. I'm looking at one of these lines like the beatdown line. And thinking I'm thinking it's worth a little money on the Alcaraz, like that Alcaraz, the one below it, the plus 1,000 one, 6-0 to 6-4 in every set. I think I like that a lot. I just like the price on it. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I like the price of 10 to 1.
Okay. Alcaraz to win his first 3 service games to love or 15. I don't like that. It's just like you got to respect Djokovic's return game. Each of the first 2 sets to end in on a tie break. Okay, no.
There's really nothing else I like.
Yeah, these long shots. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alcaraz to win the first 8 points of the match at plus 20,000 at 200 to 1.
It's so hard to win the first 8 points of the match, though. That means he's got to break Djokovic to love.
I think it's worth half a unit. No?
I got to think about it. I doubt it, but
Okay.
maybe.
For me, it's worth maybe a quarter of a unit, but I want to hit one of these long shots. When we got so close to an 80-1. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah. All right. Any last thoughts on this blockbuster?
No, man. I really got. I mean, I like Alcaraz lines here, pro Alcaraz lines here more than pro Djokovic for sure. Like, it's just a matter of what pro Alcaraz I'm going to hit. There's really not much pro Djokovic I like here.
I know you like the -1.5 sets, but like the fact that you think it should be a 6-game spread, don't you like the -4?
Um. Yeah. Yeah. I guess a little bit better price.
And you're not laying that much juice here. It's
No, I'll
-1.5.
probably. Yeah, I might have to switch my mind and going 4. You might be right about that, Manny. I might go 4. Maybe 4.
Okay. Still got to think about it a little more, but I'm definitely pro Alcaraz here too. I just think he's playing at such an insane level right now. So as well. So, but that being said, I'm weary about it. Granted, it's Djokovic,
Yeah.
so he's rarely an underdog. But yeah, we're both super excited, and we'll be on the Twitter during the match. So as always, we appreciate the support. Any closing remarks, Brad?
No, man. Just appreciate the support. Appreciate the followers. Appreciate a lot of really good chatter in the whole second week of the Slam. So thanks to all the people on Twitter who are bringing up the chatter, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So thanks a lot, guys.
And then just some housekeeping. So next week, the grass court season starts. Won't be able to do a pod for the final. We'll post our picks. But like come grass court season, we'll do a French Open recap, and we have a breaks game, right? I think I have a pretty significant lead.
I think you're up by like 10. But so basically, I need for the breaks game. I need Djokovic and
Ruud
to make the final. And if that happens, I have a pretty good shot. If not, I'm in pretty bad shape.
Yeah. All right, but that was a fun thing, and we'll preview grass, which is a totally different than what we're going through now. So
yeah, it's about as different as you can get. So
yeah, but it will be fun too. So all right, guys, have a good night.
All right, thanks, guys. Signing off.